Would you like to get into real estate investing but never got started? Because every time you watch a YouTube video or listen to a podcast, you have no idea on what the hell they're talking about and you end up being even more confused? If this sounds like you, stay tuned because I'm about to teach you 37 real estate investing terms that you must learn, and by the end of this video, you too will be able to speak real estate with confidence and start sounding just like a seasoned investor. You ready? Let's go. Welcome back, everybody. It's Tariq from Yes, I Pay Cash and the First Class Flipping Academy, where I teach you how to flip houses and invest in real estate the proper way so that you can achieve financial freedom as you grow your business. I teach you how to minimize your risk and maximize your profits. So if you're new here, please consider subscribing to the channel as well as hitting the bell icon. That way you'll be notified when I come out with a new video. You guys ready? Let's get started. Real estate, like anything else, definitely has a language of its own. There are tons of acronyms and terminology that you must familiarize yourself with to establish yourself as a seasoned investor. In this tutorial, I will teach you 37 of the more common terms used in wholesaling, flipping, and buy and hold real estate investing. First, we'll talk about the ARV, or your after repaired value. The ARV is an estimated value of a property after the renovations have been completed. Investors who fix and flip properties use this calculation to determine a property's profit potential. Next, we'll talk about as is. A property that's being sold or marketed as is just basically means the seller is not obligated or required to make any repairs. Investors make offers on distressed property based on its as is value. Next up is the assignment. An assignment contract is mostly used in wholesaling. Wholesalers place a property under contract with the seller, then assign their rights to the contract to an end buyer for a fee. Next up is the bird dog. A bird dog is someone who scouts out properties for an investor. The bird dog does most of the legwork, then passes the lead on to the investor for a finder's fee. Now we'll speak about BRRR, also known as BRRR. Okay, BRRR stands for buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. It's pretty self-explanatory, and it's commonly used in buy and hold investing. Next, we'll speak on your cash flow. In real estate, cash flow refers to the net income generated from a property after the expenses and debts are deducted. Now we'll speak on carrying costs. Carrying costs are the recurring expenses paid by an investor until a property has been sold. Mortgage payments, taxes, insurance, and utilities are all examples of your carrying cost. Now we'll speak about the closing. The closing is the final step in a real estate buying-selling transaction. This is when ownership transfers from the seller to the new buyer. Now we'll speak on closing cost. Closing costs are fees and charges due to the closing of a real estate transaction. Some common closing costs are your loan origination fees, your taxes, insurance, and your recording fees. Now we'll speak about contingencies. Contingencies are conditions or actions that must be met for a real estate transaction to become binding. The following is one of my favorite, distressed property. Distressed property usually is the result of a homeowner not being able to keep up with the mortgage payments and or tax bill. Some other signs of distress are lack of upkeep, such as chipped and peeling paint, broken windows, overgrown grass, and uncollected mail. Next is one of my old favorites, driving for dollars. Driving for dollars is driving or even walking through a specific neighborhood looking for properties to market to. You are mainly looking for properties that show obvious signs of distress. Now we'll speak about the double closing. The double closing is a wholesale technique where there is a simultaneous purchase and sale of a property involving three parties. It is also known as an ABC transaction. The original seller would be party A. The wholesaler in the middle would be party B, and the wholesaler's end buyer would be party C. Now we'll speak about due diligence. Always investigate and verify all of the physical as well as financial conditions of the property and even the neighborhood where the property is located. Next up is your EMD, or your earnest money deposit. Your EMD usually accompanies your purchase agreement, showing good faith and that you are serious about purchasing the property. Next up, we're going to speak on equity. Equity is the difference between the current market value of a property minus any debts against the property. Now is the exit strategy. Your exit strategy is a plan that an investor has to relieve themselves from a real estate transaction or obligation. Having a solid exit strategy is essential to your business. It can definitely help you minimize your risk and maximize your profits. Now we're going to talk about flipping. House flipping is an investment term which is the process of buying a distressed property, renovating it, then selling it for a profit. Next up is the foreclosure. Foreclosure is a legal process in which a lender attempts to cover the balance of a loan from a borrower who has stopped making payments. The lender then forces the sale of the asset used as collateral for that loan. Next is ground rent or ground lease. This is common in Maryland, especially in the Baltimore area. Ground rent is a periodic monetary payment by a tenant to a ground lease holder who holds a reversionary interest in the property or the ground beneath the home. In layman's terms, you own your house, but someone else can actually own the land beneath your house, and you make small semi-annual payments to the ground lease holder. Next, we'll talk about the hard money loan. Hard money loans are a way to fund your real estate deals without using traditional lenders or banks. These loans are based on the property and not so much the borrower's credit score. Hard money loans also come with higher interest rates and shorter terms than traditional banks. Now let's talk about the LTV, or your loan to value. The LTV is the relative difference between the amount of the loan and the market value of a property. The lower the LTV, the less risky a loan appears to most lenders. Next up is my favorite, motivated sellers. Motivated sellers are property owners that have a strong need and desire to sell their homes quickly, usually at a discount or with flexible terms. They may become motivated by several reasons, such as being in pre-foreclosure, divorce, bankruptcy, job loss, or they may just be a frustrated landlord. Next is the MLS, or the Multiple Listing Service. The MLS is a database used to help real estate brokers cooperate with other brokers on selling their clients' homes. This database is also used to pull comps and can be used to help you determine a property's ARV. Now we're going to talk about POF, or Plenty of Fish. No, I'm just BSing. POF is your proof of funds. Your proof of funds is a document or a statement that demonstrates that the buyer or purchasing entity has the funds available to complete the transaction. Now we'll talk about probate. A home is sold in probate court when someone passes away without leaving a will. The state then takes over and administers the property's sale. Next up is private money. Private money is a specific type of funding that doesn't come from a traditional lender or a bank. The funds are given from the investor to the borrower, primarily off of their own personal relationships. It is very possible that your private money lender can be a close friend or even a family member. Now let's speak on the purchase agreement. A purchase agreement is a binding contract between a buyer and a seller that outlines the details of a home sale transaction. Once both the buyer and seller have signed the agreement, they are now considered to be under contract. Next on the list is REO, or real estate owned. An REO is a property owned by a lender, such as a bank, that has not been successfully sold at the foreclosure auction. The lender then takes ownership of the property when it fails to sell at the amount sought to cover the loan. Now is one of my favorites, ROI, or return on investment. The ROI is a measurement of how much money or profit is made on an investment relative to its total cost. It pays to know both what ROI is and how to calculate ROI in real estate investments. Next, we'll get into the short sale. A home goes into short sale when the homeowner realizes they can no longer keep up with the mortgage payments. Instead of waiting on the bank to foreclose on the property, the homeowner can initiate the short sale process by submitting an application to the lender. A short sale occurs once the lender agrees to allow the homeowner to sell the house for less than what they owe on the mortgage. Next up is sweat equity. Sweat equity is the work that you put into improvements that increase the value of your home or investment property. Instead of hiring someone else to do the renovations, you just do the work yourself. Now we'll talk about turnkey property. Turnkey properties do not require any improvements or repairs. They are completely move-in ready and or rent ready. And last but not least, transactional funding. Transactional funding is a borrowing process where an investor borrows short-term capital to close a real estate deal. It is also known as ABC funding, same-day funding, as well as flash funding. Transactional funding is perfect for your double closings and your ABC transactions. Hopefully you now have a better understanding of real estate investing lingo. There are plenty other terms that you should get familiar with as you continue your real estate investing quest, but these are enough to get you started and should have you feeling more confident when speaking with other real estate investors. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more weekly flipping tips. Thanks again for watching. If you found value in the video, please give it a thumbs up. I'd greatly appreciate it. Also, please don't forget to like, share, and comment. And also consider subscribing to the channel to receive more real estate investing content. Welcome to the First Class Flipping Academy family, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.